So for everybody that's been waiting in the chat, you were here first. So there you go. How do you like them apples? What is up, Paula? Dead Fendel. Obi-Wan, what's up? LMS, AOD, Michael of Angels 777, Fleetwood, what is up? Jen R, what's up? Paul Fenter, Bag Removal, what's up, brother? Obi-Wan, whoop, whoop, what's up? AJ Money, what is up? Lavelle 15, Jeremy Littlefield. Jesse James has the wrench. Sandy Crow, Linda B. Cruz Red Eye, Jenny Bean 79 has got the wrench. Angel Bulldog has got the wrench. Brandonna, did I say that right? Sherry Berry, Rick Swain, what's up, brother? Mike Caps, what's up? CM, God's Chosen, Jaded Truth, Rocco Bucko. Is it what it is? Isn't what it is. What's up? Meldog G, Marcella Lewis. I see you ate it all. Slim Pickens, what's up? Victoria Cunningham, Boo, Progressive Lace, Denise Stark, Enlightened Cafe, Mike Decker's got the wrench, Kelly Jean. What's up? You guys hearing me okay? Broken Reality has the wrench. Rocco Donato, what is up, brother? I have got some phenomenal footage of an actual fallen angel that a subscriber sent me last night, and I have not even put it in a video yet because I've been watching it. I ran it through the editing software. It is absolutely, totally crazy. Caught it with a P900. I'm not going to have it up till I can get him on a Skype call so he can tell us exactly what he was seeing when he saw this, but it is crazy. I've seen something similar. Others have seen things similar to this, but it is straight up. This is an angelic, whether it's friendly or not, I don't know, but it's off the hook. It is crazy. Okay, so for all those people that watched the video I put up last night, and then it got blocked in all countries because I used Destiny's Lab song, even though I hit up ARC in a text and said, hey, I'm putting one of your songs in my videos like I've done before. I fought back, and YouTube says, we don't care. We don't want you playing that kind of music. So it's blocked in all countries. So I swapped it up. But here's the thing. I looked at the comment section, and people are like, I don't understand what any of this means. Well, that's too bad. That's too bad, because several thousand people got exactly what it meant. Every song that I put in there with the footage that I put in there all had a message. And if you didn't get it, well, maybe you ain't as woke as you think you are, or you tell people you are, but it's right there. None of that music was by accident. You see what I'm saying? So there's that. At any rate, I am going to be joined by the Big Sib YouTube channel, and a lot has happened to him since you last heard from him. He has been put on a list. He has been listed. So it's funny, you simply tell the truth about specific topics and back up your words with links in their own words and videos and etc. And suddenly you end up on a hate list. That's where we're at right now. Welcome to the New World Order. Enjoy the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, as long as it doesn't infringe on any particular countries in the Middle East that we send money to by the dump truck full every single solitary day. But other than that, what are you going to do? So, hey, Fallout Shelter is in the chat. I just saw him. He puts out some really good videos. Puts out a lot of really good information. He put up a video about ITER the other day, the neutron star that the elites are building on Earth right down the street from CERN. Because why wouldn't you reproduce a neutron star on Earth? What could possibly go wrong having plasma rotating inside a tokamak? And if any of it touches any solid material, it'll cause an explosion unlike anything ever seen before, ever. But what do we know? It's no big deal. It's funny, they're blocking out the sun, and they're building a sun on Earth. If you don't know what ITER is, look it up. There isn't a lot of information, but Fallout Shelter, who is right here in the chat right now, he put up some good info on his YouTube channel the other day. I would highly recommend checking it out. Or don't. It is what it is. Big Sib is in the chat. He's in the house. He just hit the button. He's putting in his headphones. He's smiling. He's got his glasses on. His mic's still muted, but he's ready. What's up, brother? Hit the button.
I was just being quiet. I was just being quiet.
Hey.
Trying to anyway. How you doing, Richie?
Not too bad. Yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing better. Over the stress of the family turmoil with being outed on that little Canary Mission deal. But
I glossed over it. Why don't you tell people what happened with that, just so they know what's up?
Well, what they did was that really, honestly, they gave me instant credibility on our side of it, from our viewpoint. But yeah, I'm on a website called Canary Mission, which is backed by major Jewish funding out of Israel. I found the article from harass.com the other day, where it's a big, I can't remember what they call it, those funds, the big mega funds that they come together. But of course, I'm on there as a supreme, and I went through the 2,000 and something people on that list, and I'm the only YouTuber on there that I know of. Yeah, there it is.
I was looking at the website for quite a while, and you were the only white guy on there. Everyone else seems to be some sort of a radical Islamic type person, according to the website. But so after we did a live stream, you found yourself on this website, which is called Canary Mission, and they're trying to tell this guy went to jail before. Yeah, me too. Almost every truther, almost any person, believe it or not, in my opinion, I could be wrong, I could be biased, but I'm not going to listen to somebody for life advice and people that are bringing me information, telling me everything that schools, institutions, authorities, governments, mainstream are telling me is wrong, if they've lived their entire life following every single solitary rule. Do you see what I'm saying? How would you even live this life if you've never been in a prison cell, if you've never been outside hungry, if you've never been punched in the face, or you see what I'm saying?
No, I got you. Because as somebody who's always been holy and always been perfect, I'm very skeptical of those guys because they don't have any life experience. It's always the downtrodden that are truly at their heart, who's been all the way at the bottom, who can relate to someone else on the bottom and actually help them out, because we've been there. But yeah, even this site right here, Richie, it's I went through all the names on there, and it was just amazing. But really what they did was put all my best posts and all my best videos in one spot.
So it's helpful. It works out really well. That's great. That's has this affected you adversely in any way at all?
Well, I did some research into this. Now, this has been up for a while. I actually was sent this by a subscriber. A subscriber sent me this because they were Google researching my name, looking for my BitChute channel, and this is what popped up.
Unbelievable, man. Well, like I told you, as soon as you pulled this out, as soon as you started talking about this, I was warning you the days prior, wasn't I? Saying just FYI, the more people that see you, the more they're going to start turning the screws on you. And you said, I'm not going to stop. And I totally, completely agree with you. But this is how they do it. Now that he's on a list, it's supposed to quiet him down. And we're going to do quite the opposite, because I've got your back no matter what, till the wheels fall off, because this isn't a joke. You know what I'm saying? We don't do this as conspiracy entertainment and so forth and so on. This is real stuff, and people know who we are. And they get mad. And this is the first they take your channel down, and maybe they give it back or whatever. And then you find yourself like this, listed. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, what they want to do is shame us into a corner, but really the overall arching purpose of what I do is to give people enough information where you're not afraid of it anymore. And the studies that I do are jam-packed. And most men and women can go and watch that study 3 or 4 times and still not come away with everything that was in there. But the purpose is for you to go back, and when you're armed with knowledge and when you're armed with the truth, you're no longer scared of their fear tactics. And of course, that's what it is. It's a fear tactic, right? It's supposed to push me back into my place. But here's the catch side. You know, I've been thinking about this all week too, Richie, the fact that we show our faces and everything else. If you were going to hide and try to hide in the system, it's not possible. They know who you are. And it is better for people to see you and know you than to not.
Well, I made a couple of videos and they're up on my channel, but they're private. I do this all the time. I make videos and then I start watching them afterwards and it's like, yeah, that was a little too much. I got a little overboard. It's just me driving or whatever, and I'm just rambling at the thing. The thing is there's a lot of people on here that not only follow people that they've never seen, have no clue in the world who they are whatsoever at all. They send them money, they support them. They don't know who they are. We live in a day and age right now where you could be watching a video. This is a fact. You could be watching a video of me and Brandon talking, and it could be a compilation that a supercomputer put together of videos that we made in the past that would appear live right now.
Right.
So if you don't even know what somebody looks like or where they've been or blah, 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 you don't know who you're following. You know what I'm saying? We're living, it's strange times, man. But I got to give you crazy props for staying up with this, man. I got right on you. I wanted you back right off the bat. They want things like this to break up the family. They want they want to mess with your livelihood, et cetera, et cetera. But when you make videos like you and I do, and we come, I've told everybody everything about me. Here's the deal. I've been to prison. I've been to jail. I've been in the military. I've been married. I've owned a business. I never hurt a woman and I never hurt a child.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what it did. It gave the men and women who do visit my channel the ability to see that I've been transparent about who and what I was.
You're better off. You're better off. Even 10 years ago, I didn't see things like this coming down the road, but all I was doing was pointing my phone up going, is anybody else seeing this happening in the sky? And then it started to evolve and people liked the way I talk and blah, 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 and this and that, and then I found out that having a channel, you can actually help other people out. You can meet up with other channels, and that's exactly what we've been doing over the years. So it's all good, but it's getting nasty now. It's getting nasty. So I'm really happy that you made it back, brother.
Yeah. And we started last week, bringing in local people. Look, I need to remove that word from my terminology, local men and women, to the study group. So I've got plans to incorporate whoever wants to come, because I do cook and do serve people here. It's
okay. Hard. What do you say? You're telling us halfway, but so what are you saying? You said that the people just cleared out. Do you have a mission? Do you have a building where people?
I just have my house, and I don't ever plan to have anything else. I don't ever plan to be a 501c3 corporation or anything like that. But I'm going to research this week. I do have a feeling that the reason why none of my presentations have been removed from YouTube is the fact that it's taken on the ecclesiastical look. And the fact that men and women are here, and what is happening is I'm commenting on the stuff as it's on my screen. All the videos that they've removed of mine is videos that I made of other, compilations and things.
Good call, dude. That's good to know. That's good to, and they're working on an algorithm right now to change that. But still, it's good to know. That is good to know. Okay, so go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Take us off into the Anunnaki.
Yeah. All right. Now, a lot of people aren't going to like this whatsoever at all. I don't know if you heard this. I'm not going to. I have footage. I have some of the best footage I've ever seen ever. This guy emailed me about 15 times last night, and I'm putting together a video and blah, blah, blah. And I already explained the video that I put up with the moon and the Go Fast rocket going up and the music and all that other stuff. All that whole video, there was a message right there. None of that music was, random. Everything was picked specifically. I put it up and it was instantly blocked in all countries by YouTube. And I'm like, really? They said, well, Destiny's Lab, they hit you with a copyright strike. I said, that's weird. That's a strange thing, because I've had Destiny's Lab on a couple of times, and I just texted him saying, hey, bro, I'm going to use one of your videos, one of your songs in a video, just so you know.
Right.
YouTube didn't care, so I had to change it up. At any rate, I'm checking my emails while I'm waiting for this to upload, and somebody starts blowing up my email to the point where I can't not notice it. And he says, dude, I got video of a fallen angel. And I'm like, Okay. Because I get those all the time, dude. I've got a picture of a leprechaun surfing down a rainbow with two gay guys chasing him, and there's a monkey smoking weed. And it's like, yeah, I saw that video. I got you. So I didn't think much of it. He's trying to send me pictures. He can't do it. He can't do it. He finally sends me a picture, and I'm looking at it going, oh my. It's not an angel playing a harp with wings, but it is a celestial being that he caught with a Nikon P900. I'm hoping to get this up tomorrow, but the kid that gave it to me, I want to give him a chance to tell us where he was, what he was doing, and what he felt. But it's the sickest video I've ever seen. I think I've seen something like this before, but I never caught it on footage. Maybe that's why they're spraying the sky so bad. It's truly otherworldly, so it's going to be badass. But like I said, I want this kid to get the credit for it. He's the one that took it, so
yeah, that's awesome.
It's crazy, and a lot of people are seeing lots of crazy stuff in the sky. So that brings us over to Zachariah Sitchin and oh boy, what's the guy? Prometheus, right?
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, so you've got some thoughts on this. Let me do a screen share real quick and get this going. You've gone through this whole thing, like you've already done an entire class and such on this.
Well, yeah,
thing to call it.
What I've done is let's start from the beginning. What I kept running into is people telling me that the Bible was a translation from the cuneiform text, and what you have there is the story retold. And so I went to searching, right? And I happened upon Dr. Michael Heiser, and of course, most of you will know who Dr. Michael Heiser is from Face Like the Sun. Okay. And so I went to his website. He has a website running, sitchiniswrong.com, I think it is. Well, I started going through there. Well, one of the great things about men who aren't hiding the truth is they don't just tell you something, they teach you how to do it yourself.
Exactly.
And so the site Sitchin is Wrong, run by Dr. Michael Heiser, starts going through teaching you how to go through the electronic cuneiform text and find these so-called names that come up in, of course, most of us know the ancient alien astronaut theory or whatever that's on the Discovery Channel, where everything's aliens, or the Anunnaki or whatever. But once you start dissecting these cuneiform texts, what you come away with, and one of the things you can search for right there is just type in Enki and change the second tab to label. And what you'll do is you'll come up and you'll have Enki digging his phallus into the reeds and just all kind of stuff. But what you come away with understanding is that this is a polytheist viewpoint. And
what do you mean when you say polytheist? Just for people that don't know,
many. Poly means many, right?
Okay.
And this is like the pantheon of Greece, the pantheon of Rome, the pantheon of Hinduism.
Now, if I remember. And this, I've been thinking about this for days and days, and I think I actually messaged Gons about this from Face Like the Sun. I think Dr. Michael Heiser is the one that said that God appointed lowercase g gods to all the nations except for Israel, and the same thing that happened, and they all, they started worshiping and sacrifices and so forth and so on. Am I wrong on that one, or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, he has the divine council, which is that's one of those things that I agree halfway with. But yeah, that is you are correct. The divine council is one of Michael Heiser's viewpoints. The great thing about Michael Heiser is he understands the parallels between language, and this is one of those huge things, right? So you won't find Nibiru anywhere in those texts. Now if you can just give people those links, Richie. We won't search every word. It is imperative that if you really want to know the truth, go through these websites, do the word search yourself, and then from that point on, it is your knowledge and somebody telling you that the gods from the Polaria or what's the gods from the Anunnaki are coming to do our salvation. You're not going to have any of that. You're gonna know that the Sumerian gods is another pantheon, and what you have is a pass down from Sumeria to Babylon all the way through to today. And My personal opinion of this is the worship of the fallen ones. But, can I prove that? No, I can't. But you can tell that there's no correlation between the Bible and the creation story and the story of the Bible versus the Sumerian text. And I get that a lot. You get up against that a lot. And the reason is frauds like Sitchin and the other guy.
Who's the other guy?
There's another one that helps out that they quote a lot from the. I don't watch TV much anymore, but I was before I knew all this information. I loved Ancient Aliens. I used, that's been 8-9 years ago now.
I'll tell you what. Ancient Aliens is exactly what woke me up. They showed the TR-3B. They showed the Belgian wave. And I'm looking at it going, wow, Kodak actually looked at this and they can't debunk this. This is an actual picture of an actual craft. I was living the life. Everything was fine. I did know something was going on in the skies as far as chemtrails, but I didn't know it was called chemtrails. I Googled TR-3B. 6 months later, it was a wrap because I sat in my computer pretty much every day till I found the word Illuminati and blah, 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 and so forth and so on. So Ancient Aliens definitely got me where I'm at right now, but some people are still carrying it like a cancer.
Well, yeah. Well, what really got me in the beginning stages was Illuminati and things of that nature. And then, of course, you don't have the knowledge or the tools necessary to bind all that information together at that point. So I would sit up at night and watch the Discovery Channel and watch Ancient Aliens and be like, oh man, this is pretty good. And of course, that's the point of authority figures, correct? This is why we're trained to trust authority figures when such and such with PhD comes up and says, oh, this is the Anunnaki. Well, right there, you have been programmed to accept that as the truth, even though this might be a fraudster. And most of the cases it usually is. And one of the things that I find prevalent in my studies is mistranslations, mistransliterations, false context. These things happen over and over again.
Well, here's what made me realize that I wasn't wrong was seeing things like Prometheus and them pushing this story with blockbuster movies and everybody's talking about it. And look at it, makes such sense. The gods came here. They tied in the movies. They tied in the symbolism that people have actually found in caves, the tablets that they found. Like, look, they were giants. They drank this special drink. They went into the water. It was all so they could dig gold. God created everything, but he couldn't figure out a way to mine it. So he had to send down other gods, and then they made people. I don't think God is that.
No.
Well, I think he plans a little bit better than that, but that's the story.
Yeah, right. No, right. And Richie, the only way this construct holds up too is the Big Bang, evolution, and the ball. These are the only way these concepts are able to stand within our mind is the lies that have been told already, right? But what the truth is that geocentrism, this is the center, and this is the most important thing going on is right here. But they want our minds, and of course, the only space they really ever after is the space between the temples, because the kingdom of heaven is within. They want you thinking outside, way over there, instead of focus on what's right here.
That was a great way to say it. The space between the temples. That was a great way to say it, dude. Check this out. This is just something. I mean, I should do a video on it. Maybe I already did. I don't know. Here's the deal. The Big Bang makes absolutely no sense. There was nothing, and then it exploded. But that's the story, and science signs off on it. PhDs sign off on it. Everybody buys it because they're too busy doing everything else. The Big Bang, evolution, there's absolutely evidence of every type of animal, person, thing dying someplace in the world. Somebody's dug it up, except nobody's ever dug up anything else, turning into anything else ever whatsoever at all. So evolution, Big Bang, both of these things are right out the window. And then things like the Earth is flying through the sky and it's spinning around at 1,000 miles an hour and the moon's orbiting it at 2,000 miles an hour, even though it sits in the sky half the time and doesn't move all day for days at a time. There's zero evidence of an actual scientific peer-reviewed study of them measuring how fast the Earth's going, but you can feel it not moving on your own. Everything they give you is total nonsense, and people buy it because it's sold to them by people that have studied and have PhDs. It's amazing to me. And all the information is here. I was just looking up there's a level in Dante's Inferno where they say that knowingly committing a sin is bad, but the sin of ignorance is even worse. Do you know what I mean? Like, all the information you need to be on this earth is here for now, and people still deny it. They still argue about it. It's amazing to me, brother.
Well, yeah, and what we live in this time here and now is an overabundance of information. And what the mind can't do, what I see most normal men and women have a problem with, is shucking the garbage out of their mind and learning that discernment process. And of course, that's by design too. And then we can get into the Jesuit maxim of give me the mind of a child till 7, and I'll show you the man. Which is why, of course, our children are going to school at 3 years old or pre-care at 2. They know the battle is up here. They know that, and we are unaware of that.
No, I totally agree. I don't have kids, and I don't necessarily hang out with anybody else. I pretty much stay to myself, and then this. But am I wrong? I mean, kids are going to school at like 3 now. That's a pre-K, and all. Like, it's amazing. And there are so many people that have been labeled as absolute monsters. Hitler, Goebbels, all these dudes, and all they ever said was, "Give us the children," and then we got them. And it's exactly what we're watching happening right now. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing to me. So,
yeah, well, we watched this. Of course, I'm not one who takes in all the propaganda surrounding Hitler, neither. But this is the overarching agenda of if they can capture the youth. This is what cultural Marxism is aimed at, right? Is to capture each generation, and each generation continues to dip in morality. And as you get further and further down, what happens is you have a society without any moral compass. Well, a society without any moral compass, I shared this a month or so ago. Roosevelt, as he brought in the New Deal, they even told us then that a morally decayed society that cannot self-govern must be governed from without. And that is the overarching agenda: is to for man and women to consent to be ruled by tyrannical men.
And it would appear that we're here. It would appear that they're using every single possible method to shut people up on social media or persuade them. It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
And I like the COINTELPRO deals, just like on that website that you shared earlier with my fake mug on there. There was some disinfo on there too, tying me to an organization that I've never even tweeted the hashtag BDS, but somehow I'm supposed to be on there. But that's what they do, right? They try to force you into groups. That way they can control the groups. And of course, we see this in our reality with how organic truth movements are eventually infiltrated and subverted by men and women who don't have altruistic intentions.
I agree. I put up a big stink a couple of years ago when a couple of channels popped up out of nowhere. They tagged themselves with Christianity, and you could tell it right off the bat that these were prepackaged channels. These guys had skills. They saw a spot, like, hey, these guys seem to have a lot of followers. I can do this message. I couldn't say that they were, without a doubt inserted into our paradigm, but they do just as much damage. You know what I mean? They're not altruistic at all. I'm too stupid to shut up. I just can't. So there's that.
Well, I'm gonna learn to be a little bit more tactful as we move forward, because I think that would be prudent of me. But the overall goal of the channel is if we can inform more and more men and women with solid truths, not half truths, but full truths. That means they can spread that message too, and that's been my goal, and of course, that's been your goal too.
Go ahead. Finish that thought.
Well, it's one man shining a light around 2,000 men wanting to snuff out that light. We have no chance. We have to be able to spread that light out, and that's what we're called forth to do.
Sorry, I had to jump in real quick. There's another mainstream media person going, vaping causes popcorn lung. That's why it's been banned. No, that's not actually why it's been banned in one state at all. Actually, it's marijuana. That was the problem. That's the actual genesis of it. So I just put a message saying, one more piece of bad info, Anita Spencer, and you're gone. So there you go. Now you're famous. How's that? The problem is with this website that decided to put you up there as a scare tactic to shut you up or whatever it is they wanted to do. They don't have to tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? The people that are going to go there are going to run with it no matter what, because that's what they're all about. They want to go there and hear hate. This guy's hateful. He's actually talking about things and then proving it with their own words, with their own videos, with their own quotes.
Yeah. And
that's not telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? And they don't like that and they don't engage in it. So I'm not surprised, man.
It's almost like Providence, because the weekend before on the study, I kept talking about how what the enemy does is attack the man personally. They don't attack the information and try to say the information's incorrect. No, that's not what they do. They go and attack the character. Their character assassination, just like they did James Traficanus or anybody who's ever gotten in the way of this machine. You have to attack the man. And that's why I always tell people, never put your faith in the man. That's me included.
Right.
Put faith in the information, and because the man can go bad.
Without a doubt. I constantly try to keep that in mind, and I do that by telling my subscribers I'm simply an asshole with a laptop. That's it. Most people follow me because apparently they like the way I talk. I don't even know what that means, but whatever. But think about this. When you get to 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, and it keeps going, the amount of people seeing you, they're still as woke as they want to be, as much as they don't watch the mainstream. We're Americans, and we're used to anybody we see on a screen to us is famous. They're stars. And people equate the same thing to somebody on YouTube. So now you got a YouTuber who's getting messages and emails from people going, you brought me back to God. You're the most, that video, you're amazing. It gets to them. And then it starts to show. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep everything in perspective, because what Brandon just said, the man can go bad. It happens. So there's that.
And it's just like what we talked about last week with Nicholson, right? And I could, if somebody walks through this door and threatens my wife and my child, my children, man, I've got a big decision to make. And now it's entered into my home. And we can talk all we want about people who stop doing things, but the truth is that until more men and women are ready to act out in the love of truth instead of just looking at this TV, we're gonna all be faced with these consequences. But we're at the end stage now. We're at a stage now, Richie, where they're coming out and telling you that they eat the children. I don't know if you've seen the study from the day. I know you covered AOC, but I found something on the internet way more disturbing. A man out taking orders, taking actual orders for Thanksgiving dinner for children's embryos with the same T-shirt on. And we're at a point in time in our society where I'm deemed a supreme hate speecher, but we can have somebody from the cultural Marxist dead left or wherever walk out in your streets and actually proclaim that we need to eat the children and save the earth. And this guy's seen as a hero. Man, that's a big problem with your society, folks. There's a big issue.
They've been rolling that out slowly, and they started with Charles Dawkins, right? The ultimate Big Bang guy, evolution guy.
Richard
Dawkins. There you go. He came out and he was talking about, pure human meat, pure human flesh made in the lab. That doesn't even make sense, but that's what they keep saying. And then they just combine it to climate change. They keep saying it. They pull back a little bit. People aren't even enraged. They aren't even enraged. They, they're watching all their celebrity friends eating cakes that look exactly like a human being with the internal organs and everything, eating it and calling it art. They're not enraged. Pizzagate came out to get people familiarized.
Oh, yeah.
When that came out, people were like, oh, boy, we got them now. They're all going to go to prison. It's like, are you guys new here? They're just showing you what they do. They're putting it out there in the public imagination. Nobody goes to jail. Nothing bad happens. One guy went to jail and disappeared, or whatever happened to him, Epstein. Yeah. But that case closed. The whole ball of wax is good to go. Yeah. They slowly put out everything that they believe in, and Americans aren't even shocked by it because they're completely desensitized to everything by watching movies where guys get shot and they show you the bullet going straight through his skull and coming out the other side.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean, because that's the first process of it, right? We have to present the macabre to you in fictional form. This is a decent part of the desensitization process. Get it out.
Massachusetts.
Hey, look, you're not going. I tried to say that word for 3 days, buddy. It's not coming out any different.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Yep. Show me Sasquatch said video games. Everything was done.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, a guy on TV got shot. He covered himself and fell over. There was no blood and all this other stuff. And, everything has been controlled by a specific group of people that control Hollywood. And the movies have literally pushed people in a particular direction, and it's worked perfectly. Before I was even awake, Brandon, I used to say this to my uncle all the time. And I thought it was very clever the way I said it, but I was not awake. I said the demoralization of America directly correlates to the deregulation of television. And I didn't realize how true that was.
Pretty good.
Because that's what people see. People didn't know what it was like to be gay. People didn't know what it was like to wear their pants hanging around their ankles, but they saw it on television. Gangs didn't take over the country until Colors came out and people saw gangs. Television is like an instruction book for dumb people. Mm-hmm. Sorry if you have a television and you're still dumb, but you know what? We're all dumb.
Oh, well, the subculture of the 1990s fully got me. I showed it in one of my videos. I had braids like Mystical. It's just.
No, say that again. Say that one more time.
I really did. I had braids down to here like Mystical, and but the subculture got me. Why? Because that was what was portrayed on my TV. That was portrayed in the music. You see it now as an adult, as a grown up. No, not now. You see it as an adult, right? When you reflect back in your memory how each subgroup in the high school was, and that everybody had their genre. And of course, it was meant to be that way. You had to feel part of something, and everybody had their own thing. And of course, I gravitated to that because I come from a broken home with drugs and everything else. So I was already mad, and this allowed me to get to release that anger, and it felt good.
That's almost everybody that's actually trying to wake others seems to have come from the same place. Everybody's from a broken home for the most part now. Everybody's divorced. Marriage doesn't mean anything anymore, et cetera, et cetera. And not only with the video games, violence, rap music, et cetera, et cetera. CNN came up out of nowhere, and we know who runs this place. You know what I mean? They put a talking head that there used to be Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7, and 2 ultra high frequency channels. I think 56 and 38 or something. Now there's 1,000. Every single solitary channel has a dude that somebody can relate to. And for some reason, because that dude's on TV, everything he says, the person listening will go argue with somebody else, and nobody ever gets anything done. It's brilliant. Yeah. Hollywood is the stick from a holly tree used to make a wand to broadcast a spell. They don't even hide it. It's amazing, man. It's absolutely amazing.
They don't. They really don't hide it at all. It's actually right. It's shoved right in front of your face. and we can witness it with the counterculture from the 50s on down, right? And even the jazz movement. The jazz movement itself was a counterculture, so they've been hard at work.
I agree. Breaking up the home, women's liberation, all of that. Every single solitary movement that actually affected America in a bad way, look who's behind it. It's not hidden. It's not hidden. And then all of a sudden, I mean, when you were talking about the oxys, I was listening to one of your live streams this morning and yesterday, actually. You were talking about how they prepped everybody by, we're going to go invade Afghanistan to get, lithium and heroin specifically. And at the same time, we're going to release OxyContin into the country. And it was just such a perfect setup that it had to be a plan. And it turns out it was. There's no recourse for anybody. Everybody I know has been affected by oxys or heroin one way or the other. When I was a kid, jazz musicians did heroin, and maybe guys in Harlem. I don't know, but that's what television told me. But I didn't know anybody that did it. Now, everybody I know that just about everybody, and most of them are dead. So,
right. Well, when I went to jail, Richie, MDMA was still the main thing around here, and anybody who got pain pills threw them away. Everybody hated them, and I got out, and everybody was a junkie. I was like, "What happened?" It didn't take long, and that's how fast it happens when they move to flood the streets with something and aim it at high schools and everything else. There's a reason why every single high school is loaded with drugs.
Yeah, believe it or not, cartels couldn't become the rich. If you've got a huge piece of property in Colombia and a couple of guys with planes and you can get all this stuff going together, yeah, you can make a couple 10, 30, 70, $50 million, but you don't get to be on the Forbes top 7 richest people without help. You can't get that much drugs in the United States. Believe it or not, we have a lot of law enforcement and authorities that could have stopped it. And every time they tried to stop it, some secret unknown power always stepped in, and we can't do that. We need these guys. Our government is the drug war. They're taking money to actually bring more drugs into the country to destroy the United States. And it's pretty obvious at this point.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a perfect example here. If people go back and look into the whole Tangipahoa Sheriff's Department and 6 DEA agents in Hammond, Louisiana, 2 years ago, got caught here by local agents that they were running a cocaine and heroin ring. And of course, at that point in time, I said, nothing's ever going to come of it. They gave all 6 DEA agents immunity. They let the whole Tangipahoa Sheriff's Office off, and it just disappeared. It stayed stagnant for so long, supposedly going to court, that it just went the way of the memory hole.
And it always does. It always does. Too many people were pushing back on that Pizzagate thing. Certain people just wouldn't let it die. So they finally said, you know what? Let's give him a sacrificial lamb. We'll put Epstein in jail, and he killed himself. Everybody I know that's ever done any type of time, no matter how much of a low-life scumbag they were when they were actually taken in cuffs and put in a holding cell, if you were a millionaire dude that hung out with Donald Trump, they didn't have you in a cell where there was any way in the world you could possibly hurt yourself. That was total. I covered it one time, and then that was it, because it isn't worth any time.
No,
that's how you pull an agent. You extract an agent, and he was tied to Mossad. Yeah, well, everyone knew that. That's old news. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along.
Well, the whole Pizzagate and that morphed into the QAnon psychological operation.
And it's spurned. I don't even know if that's a word. Whatever. It spawned fake news. Pizzagate showed up, and then fake news, and I knew it was the beginning of the end. But go ahead.
Yeah, and what they do is they capture. Listen, most men and women who follow these things are really decent men and women. They get caught up hoping for something to change, but what they do is they get wrapped up in these COINTELPRO agents who are just milking them dry. And I've watched it for the last couple of years on Twitter, man. It's a shame. What's that dude, Isaac Cappy, and these guys like this who are just, oh my God, they are the worst people in the world. And yet they are able to afford a lavish lifestyle. from people hoping and praying that QAnon will be the savior of the world. I hate to break it to you, QAnon's a legal fiction, and legal fiction no man can represent.
I totally I broke that bubble a long time ago, right when it came out. It was nonsensical, and then I think I've already said this to you in a live stream. They put out a video, and it went total. I mean, nobody can get a view, no matter how many subscribers they have. This channel, QAnon, pops up, puts a video out, and it goes viral, and it basically says, "Listen, it's a secret. Don't tell anybody, but we're going to take over. But we got to have martial law. So just go with it." And then afterwards, everything will be cool. And it's like, yeah, I've heard that before. I think I read that in a history book at one point. I'm not sure, but I digress.
Well, it would behoove people to know that we've been in martial law since Abraham Lincoln reconvened Congress by military rule and gunpoint.
And that's a fact, but it's getting hard. It's soft martial law, but it's getting harder, man.
Right.
I don't know if you were on it, but years ago, I used to put out a video every 5 days because I had dudes that were still in the military, people that were cops, etc., sending me emails saying, "Dude, we're doing a lot of wacky stuff." And then you look at the news, and they were basically putting it out there that we're getting ready.
Yeah,
we would all push back, and at the time, we didn't realize how much they were watching us and adjusting. And then they were like, "You know what? We don't even have to do martial law. We can just keep taking and doing whatever we want. These people aren't going to do shit.
They're not going to
do anything."
No.
You know what I mean?
I read a quote today from Max Horkmeyer from the Frankfurt School that pretty much says that same thing. You know, the docility of the men and women after cultural Marxism will disallow them from being able to rise up and revolt.
So I got to ask this because I know 55 people are at least thinking it. How is a Southern boy from Louisiana who's on a hate website, who did all this time, how are you so well read? Because you definitely are like a walking history book of actual real history that people don't want to hear.
Well, really, I've got a 9th grade education. If anyone must know, I dropped out of high school.
Does that mean you graduated from the 9th grade?
I didn't even graduate 9th grade. I quit.
Oh, I did, dude. I did. I got thrown out in 10th after doing it twice. They were like, "You're out of here." All right.
Yeah. I went, well, yeah, that's right. But anyway, yeah, well, what I did when I went to prison, I started reading a lot. I've read a lot of books, and then I've always read since then. I've always read a lot of books. And then I guess about 8 or 9 years ago, when I really started getting into my first book that ever really woke me up was on sacred geometry. And then from that point on, reading and retaining information. And then, of course, the last, I don't know, year, Richie, when I started really breaking apart language. And look, I'm no theologian or anything of that nature or no linguist. But what I have been able to do is prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt, our words have meanings, and bringing that thought process into reality is big. It's a big point. But I don't know, man. I guess just reading has really furthered my own education. It's all been self-taught.
Let me ask you then, what was the first thing that you read that really started making you think, wait a minute, this is all bullshit? Like, not some of it. It's all bullshit. It's like we're being governed by people that are reading a script. They even call it political theater, and half the presidents have been actors. It isn't even hidden. What was the first thing that really, really got you going, wait a minute, this is all wrong, man? Like, what made you stop listening to mystical, stop doing dumb shit, and start actually spending your time doing what you're doing? And have you always been grounded in the Word of God, like you are now?
No.
Me neither. I always knew there was a God. I never once thought, we would just. No. I always knew, but I didn't call on him.
All right. So somebody shared with me about 6 years ago a book, and you can find this book, folks. It's on PDF. It's not the 100% truth, but it's going to give you a breakdown of the Jesuits' infiltration into America and the creation of Washington, D.C. That book was called Rulers of Evil by Tupper Salsey. If you want to buy that book, it's going to cost you about $500, but you can find the You can find it online, and it is one of the best books that I've ever read. But it was the breaking point of me, just because what I did when I read that book was go research it. And that's what made me a much better speaker and much more knowledgeable, is when I started realizing that I couldn't just watch the video on YouTube and trust that information. I had to go research it. And what happens when you start doing that, that information that was shared to you now becomes your knowledge, and you're able to talk about it. But tougher side.
Then we shared a similar path. I would see stuff on YouTube and I think to myself, this is just ridiculous. This can't, this is insanity. This can't be real. I'd start looking into it. And then that actually evolved into things like the Georgia Guidestones, Coral Castle, the giants in Lovelock, where they found, the mounds. I started going there. If I could get there, I would go there and see for myself. And it just kept evolving and evolving and evolving. There is so much disinfo compared. I don't know if that's true. I was going to say compared to the old days, the Wild West on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's harder to find real information. And there's an easy way. There's an absolute easy way to find out if a channel is legit. If they don't talk about the same stuff that we're talking about, that actually end up on they will get you on a hate website, even though it's simply sharing knowledge. It's on the back of a dollar bill. It's right there. Who's the one group of people that we give truckloads of money to daily that don't live in the United States, and who are the one people that we're not allowed to talk about without absolute recourse? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you talk about that, apparently you hate, which makes zero sense, but it doesn't affect most people, so they don't care.
Well, yeah,
it's going to.
Most men or women are comfortable living within their own illusions, right? Of course, as we continue to move forward within this paradigm, that is becoming less and less possible for most of us to do. And of course, that forces you out. It's becoming so overt. We're not talking about covert like it was 20, 30 years ago, or the fact that they had to hide 9/11 or all that thing. No, we're coming right out in the open, and we're showing you exactly what we're doing. And this is part of the process Alice Bailey talked about, the revelation of the method. And that's what we're seeing. The method being revealed, and still most men or women can't see that it's being.
I love the fact that you refer to the works by Alice Bailey, because I read that stuff. It's amazing. And it's like, wow, this will never happen. 5 years ago, this will never happen, man. People won't stand for it. It won't happen. And it's here. You, myself, every other major YouTuber that I've spoken to, or any other YouTuber that I consider major. I consider, how lame is that? I can't think of his name. Dude, I just spoke about you in the chat. Oh, my bad. I got a terrible memory.
It's something.
Anyway, he's talking about Eider, so he's relevant to me. Every single solitary one of them. You know what? Let's just change the channel, because I just totally forgot what I was talking about. What a dick. My bad.
It's full of something.
Everyone's talking about how all of a sudden they just turned up the speed, and there's no turning back. Like, I didn't think everything was going to happen this quick. It's happening really quick. YouTube did back off a little bit when the Germans went after them. A little bit. They rephrase things. Hey, your channel, it's not a copyright strike. You just can't have anybody watch it. It's all good. No worries. There might be some ads on there, even though we demonetized your entire channel with no problems. Whatever. A little bit. But, the website, the hate websites, the people coming out there saying we can detect hate. I mean, they're saying the words in video. We can detect hate before you say it.
Right. And
how? Por qué? How are you doing that? You know what I mean?
And hate is only of the eye of the beholder, but obviously the hegemony, the power, the dominating culture that is deeming hate speech, that lets you know who rules you. It is just really that simple of a logical deduction.
At Walk in Truth, yes, I do realize that. But do you also realize that there's a nation that calls themselves that same name right there, and then everybody else just goes for it? So yes, we do understand there's a distinction. I say it all the time, that they aren't the apple of God's eye. So yeah, we get that. So there's that. But yeah, did you ever think it was going to speed up this much and become as overt as it is? I mean, they're not even afraid, and it appears that they did a good enough job softening people up with the fake news. Fake news, like these people are attacking these poor people. These police officers weren't pouring blood on these guys laying on the ground, and then they just go to, well, maybe they were, but who cares? It's still hateful to say it, you know. It's just ridiculous.
Well, no, I thought we had like 7 years. And I was thinking midway point between the Agenda 2021 and 2030. But I personally see now with the method being revealed that we're further along than what I had hoped, what I thought just as little as a year ago. I thought there would be more resistance from us everyday people, but I just don't see it.
Okay, well, here's a thought then. Remember the story I told you about the Boston bombing, how I got out of town that day?
Yeah.
And there's still video of me saying this. I forgot my point, and it goes to what you just said. The day before the marathon bombing occurred, I worked in Boston. I ended up parking my van right on the cobblestone at number 11 something street, but it was right near the end of the race. There was already people walking around, coming in from other states, other countries to run in the marathon. There was a protest there that day, and there was military dudes, probably 1,000 of them, men and women, corporals, generals, all sorts of dudes, and they were protesting the fact that once you're in the military, once you're already signed, it's too late, you're in. They were asking these people, would you fire on American citizens if you were ordered to? And these military guys gathered right there in Boston, and they were protesting against it. Not a word of it on the news. The next day on Patriots Day, there's a bombing right there. I forgot to tell you that. So that goes to the point where you said, I thought there'd be more resistance. There may well be more resistance, but we'll never hear about it.
Yeah,
that happened.
But and you're right. And look, the resistance is going to be like what we see happen here. What they've done is managed to separate us out from each other. And there's only going to be one or two people, men or women, inside your family, if you're lucky, that will start recognizing this information and this reality. Good for you, Lisa. I'm glad you got off that.
Yeah, I think somebody's in the chat. I answered her once, but she's asking how to get off opioids. You're talking to the right people. Lisa Lavender has a good idea right here. Do not do methadone. Do not do Suboxone if you can avoid it in any way whatsoever at all. It's like 3 days of hell, but it's doable. I've done it 75 times. I went cold turkey or just straight ran out, I knew I had a drug problem when I ran out of money. You know what I mean? Other than that, everything was fine, but it's doable. And right now you want to be sober-minded, in my opinion. I've been there. I believe Brandon's been there, and probably half the people in the chat have been there. So you are not alone.
Yeah, I rehabbed my best friend right here in this house last year. He come and lived with me for 6 months. And I sent him up when he got here the first day. 2 days later, I put him in rehab, and I told him when he got out, and I said, if you can stay clean, you can stay with me until you get back on your feet, bud. And he has. He lives across the street now, as a matter of fact.
Nice. Everyone's talking about Kratom. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I can't really speak on it. I don't know if it's even anything, to be honest with you. Are you familiar with it at all?
I have no clue what it is.
Me neither. I don't know. But I mean, you can go cold turkey, or you can wean yourself off it till you're down to the smallest milligram you can handle and then stop, because there's no future in it. It's evil. I've been there.
Yeah.
I was there for a decade. I don't even remember it. I think I got married and divorced. So, you know what I mean?
Yes.
We already did an hour. That's crazy.
Dude, it goes by quick, bro. It goes by.
All right. What do you want to do here?
I'm good. I'm good, brother. I did my thing. Whatever you want to do, brother. Take us to where you.
All right. Well, I'm having a hard time screen sharing. I don't know why it's so difficult, or if I'm doing it wrong. I think I should have all the links up on Firefox and then switch over, because I got to do it singularly here. So I'm going to try to. Let's go with Where is he? Sitchin is wrong. And you can speak on that a little bit. How about that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Let me make sure I got the right one open. All right. Anunnaki with the little square. Got it. All right. So you found this through Dr. Michael Heiser?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what it does right here, this is the place where he'll teach you how to go do the compound searches for the Sumerian text. And it's very simple, guys. I mean, it's awesome. You can go click on the Nibiru, Anunnaki, Nephilim. But right here is the point where you can go look at the electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature and start searching these terms yourself and go see the context for which they're used. And you'll find that there's no fiery rockets from the sky or things of that nature, or ancient astronaut theories or anything like that. What you will come away with is an understanding this was another polytheistic culture, another pantheon of gods, and pretty simple. It's pretty simple and straightforward.
Let me ask, what was the Rosetta Stone, so to speak, that Sitchin was using to decode all of this?
I don't know as much information as about Zachariah Sitchin, other than I think Jim Mars hosts a lot of his work too, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, and you know the truth of it is as you can read it up there at the top of that particular page, is Michael Heiser has challenged Sitchin to a debate for the last 9 years, and the man won't do it.
That's a little bit of a telltale right there, especially someone that's talking something as big as this. You know what I mean? He's not talking about a different way to build a house or something. He's talking about an it's beyond everything else. We were simply slaves, and there's a lot of people that fall for that one. You know, we were simply here to mine gold and look out at the Grand Canyon, look at Utah, etc. To me, I've been there a bunch of times. In the middle of the desert where it's just blown right open, just looks exactly like, to me, where the waters above and the waters below came out to flood the earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so much evidence to prove the Bible accurate, not to mention the Dead Sea Scrolls, which I've seen twice and once with an interpreter. And he's like, this says the same thing as the King James for the most part. You know what I mean? It doesn't contradict it.
Yeah. And that was Linda say fallen angels. Yeah, and I think that's more along the lines what the Sumerian culture was. I have my what you have with Enki is another pervert, sadistic pervert who is also a pedophile. I wonder what other culture we're going to find that type of stuff in. But you can draw your own conclusions. Don't listen to me. You go do the research yourself, and that way nobody can deter you from that speech again. Somebody goes, well, no, that Zacharias Sitchin into Anunnaki. You can actually take them to that site, and you'll be armed with knowledge.
I'm going to leave links to every one of the pages I already flashed at the beginning of the stream. I'll obviously leave them all linked in the comment section, so you can check all this stuff out yourself. But most of you guys already know that this is all. It's all just another diversion. And like I said, the easiest way to tell is it's what Hollywood pushes.
Right.
On a grand scale. You know, that's anything you see in Hollywood, it's basically them tipping their hat. 90% believe it, 10% go, yeah, I thought it was all nonsense. And it is. So my email is rjcjr10@yahoo.com. And please don't send me an email saying, can I verify this is Richie from Boston? Because I hate that. And I made a video about that, but I didn't put it up. So
that was one of those where you decided not to do it.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah, I do. I actually believe there was dinosaurs. I've seen a lot of crazy prints in stone to this day. I've got pictures of it that I took myself. 3-toed, 4-toed. Unless these things were like, centaurs or whatever, but I can see dinosaurs being a larger version of reptiles because everything's DNA. Birds in the air, fish in the sea, everything's DNA was messed with. And then, Dr. Jack Horner comes up and starts pulling fresh, viable DNA from Tyrannosaurus Rex flesh meaning it was only like 5,000 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And what you have is the natural law of entropy, right? Entropy says a copy of a copy of a copy of a DNA strand, it actually gets weaker and weaker and weaker. And so if you take time back, we were just bigger and better. Before our cultures were meshed together, and you have all these DNA breaks and all these things happen. But yeah, I actually believe entropy is what really happens.
Do you ever do some research about the guys that make these Project Google videos talking about flat? Okay. Yeah. No, I don't usually second guess him. I just hear what he's saying and his degrees, and the fact that he was silenced and he can't come on YouTube anymore, it basically backs it up. So no, I don't do the math. Richie from Boston isn't known for his awesome math doing skills. Remember the time I just said I did finish 9th grade? It was 9th grade. Yeah. I'm not a big math guy. FYI.
Scott, what's the meaning of Big Sib? Because it just means big, and my last name's Sibley.
Oh, did somebody decode you? Did he find out?
Yeah,
they do it to me all the time. Yeah, what does RFB mean? Richie from Boston, and I didn't even give me that name. My actual name was 27 Tub Guy. So there's that. That's
what everybody called me when I got out of penitentiary, was Big Sib.
Yeah, how tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
Yeah, I'm 5. I'm getting shorter, but I'm 5'10" and I'm 240. So
yeah.
And when I lift, I get really big. I'm too old to care about lifting anymore.
Well, I injured myself really bad.
All I ever do, dude, I injure myself, and then it's like opiates are always in the background, so I just stop.
I actually blew out 2 discs in my neck. They did the surgery up through here. That's been 5 years ago. I was a pretty big guy up until that point.
That's the only good thing about jail is you get jacked.
Yeah.
Meet some really good friends and play a lot of cards and learn how to do everything that you did before, bigger and better. So they should make a business out of jail, where they put people in jail and everybody makes. Wait a minute. They are doing that. All right. It's 8:30. We've been at this for a while. I wanted to get you back on no matter what. Oh, yeah. Big Bang it's not even a hoax. It's just stupid. That's how come they think the average people are.
Yeah.
Well, there was nothing, and then all of a sudden it became very agitated and it exploded, and it's still exploding to this day, and it's just whirling on. It's just nonsense, man. And you know what? Living in a terrarium, God's footstool, waters above, waters below, that's a tough one to swallow too, but it's actually something you can use your own senses and look around and go, wait a minute, this earth isn't moving. The ocean's blue when I'm in a plane, and the sky's blue when I'm on the ground. You know what I mean? Oceans. And then when you look at things, you can see all these waves moving in front of them. And
hey, I'll give everybody out there something to look up, is how noble gases react in the sky. That's some pretty amazing stuff, how they work in the electricity works with helium and all that stuff to create these colors in our sky too.
Yeah, that's a good one. I know exactly what you're talking about, so I might get on that. I gotta make 2 more videos and I'll have 2,000 videos. Are nukes real? I don't think so. I don't know. But how about this?
I've seen enough information, and I know I have seen the guy eat the nuclear material.
We're the only country that's ever nuked anybody. We nuked Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and they are both thriving communities and have been for a long time. Like, people just forgot about it.
Right.
And everything we've ever been taught is once it's nuked, it's a wasteland for billions of years, and the half-life and so forth and so on.
Well, remember the fear porn from
dude, terrorism is the only thing that actually wiped that out. It lasted forever. The fear porn from Russia's going to nuke us. Everyone's going to nuke us. Yeah. They found a better one. They found terrorism. So,
well, that too, but remember the earthquake in the nuclear reactor place that was leaking radioactive material into the ocean. What was that place? It was in Japan. It was just a few years ago.
Oh my.
And everybody was saying we had a year left to live before the entire Pacific Ocean went down.
Come on, people. What was the name? I cannot think of this. We hit him with a a tsunami and then a perfectly centered earthquake, and
Yeah.
it was called anybody? Fukushima.
Yeah.
There you go. Fukushima. Thank you.
It's Fukushima.
It's unbelievable how when I'm on the spot, I forget, man.
Yeah. I mean, we're supposed to be 7 years into the apocalypse from the entire ocean being dead, you know.
Well, look at this. Can you see the chat? Every single person commenting Fukushima is being censored by Google right now.
No
Every
way.
single one of them. I'm just looking over. It's a trip. Fukushima. Yep. You're censored. Yeah. Google's here. Google's here in the chat. Unbelievable. They're waiting. They're like, those two are going to say something and we can get them good. Those assholes. Unbelievable. All right, Brian. Brandon, whoever. I was thinking of Brian Muller. All right, whoever you are. Trey Smith. Yep. Trey Smith's good, but then he jumped the shark and he went over to Donald Trump, which I don't get. But his information prior to that, even though he pulled most of it out of the thin blue sky, is still really solid information. I have no clue why he suddenly thought that after everything he's presented, after all the DVDs I've watched of his, suddenly Donald Trump was going to step in and save us.
I know.
I don't know. But prior to that, he had a lot of good information. So there's that. Brandon, thanks for joining me once again, brother. Anytime you want to come back, you're always welcome. Anything goes wrong, people, subscribe to his channel. It'll be linked in the comment section. And get yourself a backup channel if you don't already have one.
I'm working on. I was working on getting a new email today to get another one. All right, brother. Take it easy.
I will talk to you soon. Everybody in the chat, thank you for jumping in. Mods, thank you for jumping out. We are out. And I think we're out.